Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Let's just check in
Mm-hmm.
on what it was like posting the last episode.
It felt good. It always feels good to just get something off your chest, it was freeing.
And that's like the big thing.
That's the whole reason we're doing this.
And we've been like leading up to that.
Yes.
So we hit the peak.
Yeah.
And now it's the aftermath.
Yeah. It's like, what did we do? How did we get to here from that?
That first episode where I did that like tracking shot onto your eyes. And, like
I was feeling all the emotions of getting out all of this in that beginning, knowing that that's what this was leading up to. And now I'm like, silly girl, this feels great. This was good. This is the whole reason we're doing this.
So we got up to our 10th wedding anniversary, the big reveal. We spent the last hour going over everything that was actually happening throughout a lot of the first things. So now we're back to telling the story chronologically.
Mm-hmm.
And we're both on the same page.
Yeah.
No secrets.
Yep.
But it wasn't like on that day everything changed.
And everything was hunky-dory and perfect.
It was a lot of work after that.
No, yes, it was a lot of work.
So we do need to pick it up from our 10th wedding anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
We had the high dose psilocybin experience together.
Mm-hmm.
You revealed the beginning of this, and everything that you shared in the last episode came out over weeks.
Yeah.
If not months.
Yeah. Because it was a lot to process through and like share with you. And
well, you spent so much time building the walls and making these rules with yourself so that it wouldn't come out.
Yeah. I had suppressed so much and separated myself so much from you in our life that I had to slowly break them down and let it flow out.
So my understanding right after the event was it had been going on a lot longer than I knew. It started a lot sooner than I thought. There were lots of different bits and pieces that weren't clear to me. And it didn't even seem possible that I could just be like, okay, tell me all the things. And we didn't put a plan in action, but we did a really good job of going through that. You had been going on walks every single day. And so I said, well, then you and I are reclaiming those trails. Because we understood together that what I had come to learn is that the real benefit of these high-dose psychedelic trips is in how it changes your life every single day. And if you're not putting into practice every single day some kind of mindfulness, then your psychedelic journeys become these stories you tell, but your life doesn't change.
Yeah. So we took that and we went for walks and we meditated together.
So I do, or had been doing, the daily morning routine with meditation and breath work and maybe some journaling at the time. I had my big long practice, and I had been doing that for 2 years.
I think so.
At that point. And it was, an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours. Because you were breaking an addiction, you were so emotionally raw, having exposed all this stuff. And I was helping show you, guide you into this practice yourself. I let go of my entire whole thing and said, well, the only thing that we have to hold on to is that at least 15 minutes of zazen open-eyed meditation. And we incorporated what you had been doing, the daily walks, which was a huge deception. And we were transmuting that into a part of our healing process together. So what we did was every day, first thing, we would get up. I would go make coffee because coffee was always a part of my morning routine. And I'd fill up our thermoses. And we would drive out to one of these trails where you'd been having affairs. And we would walk it together.
And we would talk.
And that's where I got to ask questions. And we would be walking, and I would have ruminating thoughts come through. Questions that I needed answers to. And we weren't sitting like this.
No.
We were walking down a trail.
In nature.
Healing.
I'm
a kinesthetic learner. I process things when I'm moving and walking. When I was acting and memorizing scripts, I would have to go for a walk. I would take my script with me, and I'd have to walk in order to get the lines into my head. That's just my ideal way of processing text and words and stories. So we went on these walks every day, and we would stop where it felt comfortable and sit together and meditate for 10, 15, 20 minutes. You were, what was happening for you in meditation at that time?
What do you mean?
You were new to meditating.
I was teaching myself how to really be in the present moment and not get caught up in the story in my mind, because I was so used to being in my head about everything that I needed to shut that off and focus on the present moment and not get swept away in, the negativity of it all.
The guilt.
The shame and guilt.
You had not forgiven yourself yet.
No.
And for me, I'd been practicing daily meditation for a couple of years, but we're talking about these things and they're top of mind, they're present in the mind. And I get to take a moment and go, but that's not happening right now. And she's here with me now. And I can't tell you how many times I sat alone in meditation wishing she was beside me and knowing one day you would be. Because I had tapped into this pure love. And I knew that it's the most attractive thing in the world. And it's what every single person wants. And that if I actually embodied that, if I actually sat in that every day and let it guide my every move, you would not be able to resist. And I just knew one day she'll be right here with me. You started treating me differently.
I suppose.
I
put my attention on you.
You started building me up.
And I started being honest with you in the way that I felt about you.
So you went from this paradigm of one day he's going to find out and everything's going to crumble.
Everything's going to crumble.
And like a flick of a switch, what did it change into?
I have the most supportive, loving, forgiving husband in the world that, like, it all just fell into place of like, no, we're meant to be together. And I have the greatest man that I know. And I need to care for that and nourish that.
And I felt that. You couldn't be honest with me in any way before.
No. I wasn't honest with myself. I wasn't honest with anyone in the whole wide world.
And I forgave you.
Yeah.
In the trailer.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what was going to happen to us after.
Yeah.
I just knew that I had to forgive for me. Right? I think another interesting thing is we went shopping.
Oh, yeah.
These men would give her all sorts of gifts. We had arguments about why she was buying so many pants. This was a thing that went on. Like, where you bought another pair of pants? Where are you getting the money for this? She's like, it's my money. I'm good at saving.
Yeah.
Just lies. But these men were giving you gift cards.
Gifts, gift cards. Yep.
Money. And you had a stash.
Yep. Of gift cards.
Of gift cards. How do you feel about having that after?
It felt gross. Not great.
So we transmuted that
into us going shopping, and I would buy him things.
She took me shopping. And she bought me stuff with these other men's money.
Which is strange, but it was healing for us.
It was. Because I had never seen myself as an object of affection. And to have you go, oh, you look good in that shirt, but you don't look good in that shirt. It was like, a shirt's a shirt, there's a shirt, is what I always believed, right? Yeah. And the idea that I would put any effort into making myself look good was some kind of like point of weakness for me or something. And I think this stems from my parents' relationship and the fact that they would never, want to talk about the attraction between them. But that was just like we would go out, we'd go for our walk, and then maybe we'd go out shopping and spend these douchebags' money. And it was this kind of, it was a whole new relationship.
Yeah.
Today's the anniversary of our first date.
It is.
16 years ago was that first date.
Yeah.
Back in Calgary.
That we went to the show, theater show.
And then it was our 10th wedding anniversary that whole thing happened. And it was like that whole new relationship happened. And it was so wonderful and great. And I haven't talked about how difficult it was for me. Because I did have to kind of put my shit on hold.
Yeah.
Because you really, really needed me. You needed my attention. You needed my guidance. I went to my therapist. I had regular meetings with my therapist. I remember talking to her about rage. I would get these moments of just rage where I wanted to just hit things and break things. The ideas of what these people did to you. And that's what I saw was not what you did to me, what they did, how they took advantage of you. I would get little memories on my phone. 6 years ago today, 2 years ago today, you and Esther. And I'd look at those photos and be like, well, that was a complete lie.
Yeah.
It was really difficult to wake up every day and have Google sharing pictures of the last decade of my life and me going, who was she with on this day?
Mm-hmm.
And again, I wasn't clear on the timeline at first.
No.
Had it happened yet? Was she hurting at this point? If I had have done something different at that point, would have it all happened? So many questions and what ifs. And I would always go, but that's not happening right now.
Yeah.
And bring it back into presence. And go, and I love what's happening right now.
Mm-hmm. And that's how I survived too. I would think, and I would just get caught up in the guilt and the shame and the hating myself. And I'd be like, but right now, that's not happening. Right now, I'm happy and I'm growing and things are good. I don't need to consume myself with the past. But at the same time, I wasn't working on forgiving myself.
Not yet. For that. We talked at the end of the last episode about narcissism.
Yes.
And without being able to name that, we never would have made it.
No.
Without being able to go, you don't exist. And that's a difficult concept. Mm-hmm. But being able to go back to who's feeling this way.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the idea of Esther.
Yeah.
That's feeling this way. Because you were learning, I'm not a victim to the ideas that I have. Mm-hmm. I can sit for 15 minutes and not identify with my thoughts or the idea of who I am, and find this semblance of peace that's kind of thrust upon you or forced upon you in the psychedelic experience, right? When you do the big trip, you can't hide from your lies, right?
I tried.
And when you sit in meditation, you don't have the same conceptual kind of understandings, but the body
remembers.
The body remembers, and it gets to go, oh, right.
Yeah.
I can come back to that.
Yeah.
And that daily practice made it so whenever the ego popped up, the narcissist popped up, mm-hmm. and was like, but I exist. Mm-hmm. I have rights. We could name it and go, that's not you.
Yeah.
You are the one who listens, and you know that feeling because of the daily meditation practice. Mm-hmm. My experiences in my healing when I went to psychedelics as a way to treat depression and the symptoms of what was being called bipolar disorder at that time. That's when I was able to see my father, the narcissist. And in that, I was able to see the narcissism in myself. Every boy grows up trying to emulate and please their father. Yeah. And when you grow up with a narcissist, everything you do is a reflection or a response to trying to keep that monster appeased, walking on eggshells. And I, being the youngest of 5 kids in this family that were all in this dynamic, was really good at watching everybody and responding to them in a way to not rock the boat, which taught me my own narcissistic ways. So I had to go through that myself and let go of this idea of Peter, who I am, and understand I don't exist unless I insist I exist. If I'm upset or uncomfortable, it's the idea of Peter, because I was learning, I can let go of that idea, sit and not identify with myself, and feel perfectly, not even just perfectly fine, blissful.
Yeah.
So it must be this identity that causes all the pain and suffering.
Yeah, ego.
Our anniversary is August 31st.
Yes.
We go into September, it's fall, we're walking these trails
we're
every day.
walking into the winter, we're walking.
And my father had been in a long-term care facility for about a year and a half, maybe at that point.
Yes.
Or maybe not quite a year. He was having a progressive stroke for years, slowly losing the, I think it was his left side.
Yeah.
Slowly losing he was paralyzed. He was half paralyzed. Mm-hmm. And that was horrible for our family. He was so mean.
Yeah.
And intentionally hurtful.
Mm-hmm.
And I had done my work and my healing with that relationship already, and a lot of my family had not. No. And he didn't have the power over me anymore that he used to. Mm-hmm. I had let go of this. And part of my role in this was to not take offense from the meanness. I was the one who had to step in and take his keys from him.
Yeah.
When he was trying to drive his car with a paralyzed leg. I lied down behind his car while he was trying to drive it and said, "You're going to have to run me over if you're going to drive this thing again." I was the one that put my face in front of him and said, "Go ahead and hit me, punch me. You don't have the threat of violence any longer." And he tried to hit me. Yeah. And it was, he had no strength left. He was a big man.
Yeah.
6'4", 300 pounds. And he intimidated his way through threats. He was never violent. He never hit anybody. But he would use that size and that intimidation mm-hmm. to manipulate people and get his way. Yeah. And when he was losing the ability to care for himself, to walk, I knew he just wanted to stay home as long as he could. And if he didn't cooperate with us, he wouldn't be able to. And he wouldn't cooperate. He was getting progressively worse. And that fall, he went from the long-term care facility, which coincidentally was where my mother worked for 20 years. My mom worked in a nursing home, and Dad would have joked, "One day you're going to put me in there."
Yeah.
And so she was back at the place that she worked at, where she retired from, every single day in that same place, mm-hmm. caring for him on a schedule while he was horrible.
Yeah.
I got a phone call from him once saying that him and Mom are getting a divorce and he's going to live in the shed. Like, he was also getting delusional.
Yeah.
He wanted me to develop a hinge for a barbecue that would let it open both ways so that he could go outside of the shed and cook on it, but then open it up to heat the shed in the winter. He wanted to live in the shed.
He couldn't take care of himself, but he wanted to live in the shed.
Now, a lot of this comes from this conversation him and Mom had where she said, "I never loved you."
Yeah.
And he never got to have the walks and the talks. He never got to have any kind of healing from that big confessional moment.
Yeah.
And after you and I, on our anniversary, I went and I talked to my mom. I always blamed Dad as the villain for being a narcissist and angry and controlling. And I sat down with Mom and I said, "You don't get a free pass anymore." Because I held her up as this angel that put up with him and protected us and cared for us. And what I realized is she lied to him every single day.
Yeah.
And having been able to go through that with you, being lied to, and how it affected the entire dynamic of everything, I just suddenly saw why he was so angry.
Yeah.
Because he never got to feel that love that was vowed to him 50 years before. So he did end up in the hospital, and we had a meeting of the whole family, and they laid out some options. He'd lost the ability to swallow, not even water. He wasn't able to, the paralyzing, the strokes caused his swallowing mechanisms to make it. So they said, these are your options. They discussed MAID, which, just to highlight how mean he was, he did call me up one day just to say, I just want to let you know that you're the reason that I want MAID.
Yeah.
Saying, you're the reason I want to kill myself. And I was able to take that in and not hear, you're the reason I want to kill myself. But what I heard was, you want me to feel horrible, don't you? And I was able to point to that and say, are you saying that to be mean and hurt me? Because that was the truth.
Yep.
MAID was an option. A feeding tube was an option.
Yep.
And the third option was to cut food and fluids and wait to pass. And he didn't want the feeding tube.
No, he wanted to die.
He wanted to die. And I think he wanted to die so that mom wouldn't have to take care of him anymore. He chose, in my opinion, suicide.
Yeah.
Because he had a broken heart.
Yeah.
I don't know how many days it was after that. I do remember the day before he passed, we were all there because it was like, it's happening, it's getting close.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen. And we went back to Kitchener. Everybody else was staying at my mom's, mom and dad's, or in town. And we went back to Kitchener.
Yeah.
None of them knew about
what we had just
gone through, except my sister.
Yes.
And I knew that you were my family. And that I was going to be healing with you through all of this.
Because when it's all said and done, it's just you and I.
And one day, they're going to be gone.
And it's just you and I.
And it's just you and I. And the next morning, we went on our walk.
Yep.
We put each other first. And we just finished our walk. And I checked in, or they checked in with me. But I think it was like, Peter, I think it's happening.
Your sister called you.
Yeah.
She said it's happening.
And they put me on speakerphone. I said, I love you, Dad. And everybody was there but me. And we hung up and we went home.
We didn't think that he'd actually died in that moment.
We didn't know what was happening. We went home, we got a quick change, and we drove about an hour. But that was it. I was the last one to say goodbye. And that night, everyone went back to the house. Mm-hmm. And you and I went home.
Yeah.
We went back to Kitchener together. Because I knew that my family would be healing in a very different way than I was.
But you had personally dealt with all
I had already
of your relationship
done, yeah. And I'm so grateful that I made the time to do that healing. We had a family wedding.
Yeah.
Like the next day or 2 days after. And we went and had a great time.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget my aunt, who's a social worker, who I lived with for a little while, came up to me and just said, Bet you're glad you dealt with all your shit.
No, she said, I'm so glad you dealt with your shit.
You got your shit together, yes.
You got your shit together.
I'm so glad you got your shit together
before this.
So we got together as a family to plan the funeral. And we were talking about who would speak, who would eulogize. My uncle is a fantastic public speaker and MC. And it just made sense that he would do a eulogy. My oldest brother was stepping into the role of, well, I'm the oldest.
I'm the oldest. I'm
male. Yeah. And he said at one point, as we're sitting around the table, one of us should speak. Mm-hmm. At least to just thank the people for coming. Mm-hmm. And I had always imagined I would speak at Dad's funeral. When I was angry with him, I thought about how I could get back at him. I had this fantasy of getting up at the pulpit and just laughing until everyone in the room laughed. Mm-hmm. And he had told me, Dad had said to me, I don't want you to speak at my funeral because you'll just make everybody laugh.
Because you're not allowed to laugh at a funeral.
Not at his funeral.
You can't laugh at his funeral.
Not his.
You have to be all sad and miserable that he's gone.
So my brother says one of us should speak, and nobody spoke up. And I said, I would, but he actually told me he doesn't want me to. Mm-hmm. And I think my brother was just like, well, he was, he was probably just
with it.
Joking. So I agreed to speak, and I had all these ideas over years. I'd written in my journal about it. And I had to sit down and figure it out. I didn't have long to write this.
You didn't.
I don't know if it was one day.
One day.
It was like the next day.
One day.
And there was something that my sister and I talked about leading up to this, knowing that it was coming soon. Like, we knew it was coming for a couple of years.
Yeah.
You don't know how long. But when things started getting really bad, okay, we're preparing for this. And the one thing that we talked about was how horrible it was going to be in the receiving line. Mm-hmm. Having to listen to all these people come up and tell us what a great man our father was when we knew the real him. We knew how mean he was and controlling, and his violent temper, this anger. How am I going to look them in the eyes? Well, they're like, oh, he was such a great, wonderful man. Mm-hmm. And so I plan these little phrases like, you're telling me. Like, oh, your father was such a great man. You're telling me. Like, how can I just respond positively without agreeing? And this is something I learned as a bartender, because as a bartender, people come in and they have their opinions and their views, and they want you to agree with them.
Yeah.
And, so like, how could I not? Yeah. This is a really good positive response that isn't actually taking a stand.
Yeah. So we had a bunch lined up.
We had a bunch of those lined up. You're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
You're not wrong. But I really thought about that when I sat down to write this. And it comes back to this narcissism, the idea of who I am. And I had really come to understand and know that I have this idea of who Peter is, the ego, the id, the idea. You create this completely other version of Peter in your head. And my mom has a completely different version of Peter in her head. And a stranger looks at me and instantly creates this idea of who I am based on how I reflect the idea of who they are.
Yes.
And there are people that will look at my father and go, what a wonderful man. Because the narcissist in the community is amazing.
That's all they knew was a wonderful man.
And that you have to understand he was a wonderful man.
Just because one person experienced doesn't mean the other thing doesn't exist.
And I really wanted to focus on what was I asked to do. I wasn't asked to get revenge.
No.
I wasn't asked to make people laugh. No. I was asked to thank the members of the community.
Yes.
For coming. And he was someone who sat on boards and was involved in
sports,
the hockey program and the Kinsmen and the church. And so I took that and I ran with that without any kind of an agenda. But he was a huge homophobe. And he caused a lot of pain and introduced a lot of conflict into our family dynamics, into our extended family.
Yeah.
And he was a hypocrite as a Christian with all of this hate. And I'd been deconstructing my Christian faith, and to stand in a church and speak, I did not want to be a hypocrite. Mm-hmm. And one thing he did put in his requests for things to be done at his funeral was he wanted an altar call. If you don't know what that is, that's when in a church service they say, if you haven't come to accept Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, come to the front right now and make a profession of faith by walking up and accepting a blessing and choosing Christ as your Lord.
Yeah, it's very manipulative and not something we really wanted at a funeral.
My brother, who is a priest, said, I don't want to do that, and I don't think we have to feel bad about not doing it. But I wanted to do my best to honor that as well. Mm-hmm. At least not do it, but honor the fact that he wanted it.
Honor the good intentions behind it.
And I tried to capture that as best as I could in what I said. And I wrote it from a flow state. And I came to a logical conclusion at the end that created a juxtaposition between one person's idea of faith and the all-encompassing unconditional love of Jesus Christ. That leaves no one out. Mm-hmm.
Hello. My name's Peter Aitchison. I believe you know my father, Fred. Dad once told me he didn't want me to speak at his funeral because I'd just make everyone laugh. I think Neil did a good job of that. He was so proud of you, Neil, and Lynn, and Mark, and Aunt Franny. He would brag about you every chance he got. And he stole most of your jokes. Dad did his best to prepare us for this day, and he left several notes and directions to help us. Among them was a letter to be read in the event of his death, which said not to be sad, and that he wanted to thank you all for being here to support his wonderful family. Looking out into this congregation, I can see many faces from the many groups, clubs, boards, and organizations Dad was a member of. He loved being part of a club, especially exclusive ones. He served his community in many ways and in many roles. He's been a president in your club, or a treasurer in another, or just a member at large in others, and I mean very large. One of the most exclusive clubs he was a member of was the Freemasons, but the most exclusive only had 7 members. And that is my immediate family, and I was the last member to be admitted. Just like the Masons, there were many rules, initiations, secrets, and rites of passage. As the youngest, I got to watch my brothers and sister go through these initiations before me. I studied for these milestones by watching them and learning what not to do. I don't know what happens in the Masonic Lodge. I'm sure I haven't heard everything that happened on those golf trips he took with some of you, and in turn, you cannot imagine what it was like growing up in that exclusive club, where I was known as Big Fred's Little Peter. As the Grand Master of our lodge in our house, he had various challenges for us to complete and a higher standard for us to measure up against. We didn't always hit that bar of excellence that he set for us. The first time I found myself in the back of a police car, the officer asked me my name, and I said, "My name is Peter Aitchison. I believe you know my father, Fred." He said he did, and my behavior that night is something he wouldn't want to hear about, so I said I'd appreciate it if you didn't tell him. I shared this with him years later. Why was I in the back of that police car? You can ask me later. But Dad laid the groundwork here in our community that got me, my brothers, and my sister out of more than a few sticky situations. To be a part of this exclusive club meant everyone knew you before you got there. I never had a teacher who wasn't prepared for me. I was the last in a long line of Big Fred's kids. From the stories I've heard from you throughout my life and these last few days, I know he held himself to a higher bar while serving alongside you in his community, on your boards, and in your organizations, preparing the way for us, representing us as he touched the lives of everyone here today. At the heart of everything he did was his membership to the least exclusive club he joined. It's open to everyone. They'll let anyone in, no matter who you are. All you have to do is surrender to Jesus. Dad remembers doing this as a young man, and he wrote, "I believe God, the Creator, has been looking after me ever since." Now, if you ask me, I'll tell you Jesus made it very clear how to live in the kingdom of heaven here on earth after having accepted that he lives on in our hearts. Some, including myself, might find some examples where Dad did not find it that easy to live by that example he set for us. From where they both are now sitting, I will live on believing that he can now see the truth and is loving us all in the same way Jesus does. Jesus is within us. Accepting that as truth is what saved Dad in this life. He would tell you to do the same and would support you as he did many people in his life in learning what that means to you. "I know where I'm going" was a line he used as a comfort while he slowly gave up his earthly body. Dad really wanted you all to know that. It is obvious to me by looking at all of you here, hearing the stories you've told about Fred, his kindness, his generosity, his openness and acceptance, that you did see that in him. To honor him, please continue to share that love that you felt from him with everyone you meet, no matter what clubs they belong to. On behalf of my mom, Diane, my brothers, Don, Sean, Jono, and my sister, Tanis, I want to thank you so much for coming to support us today. And thank you for keeping Dad alive in your hearts as you share that love today, tomorrow, and beyond. I love you, Dad.
When we got back to the house, my mom came up to me. And the first thing she said to me was, I think you missed your calling. I made one thing very important through that time, and that was to feel all the feelings while they were happening, to let myself grieve. And I hadn't really been grieving our relationship.
No.
So life goes on.
Mm-hmm.
We continued our healing. And that was mid-October. It was another month before I said, I think it's really important for you to have another trip.
Mm-hmm.
What do you remember your response being?
I don't remember what my response was. I just remember we did it.
You did not want to do it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember that because I only remember how good it felt after.
We had a conversation about it, and you said, I don't really know if I want to. And you're like, I think you tried to pull the autonomy part of if you,
because I was still going to my therapist and talking about everything and working through it. So I probably was like, I'm doing the work.
What was your therapist's reaction after the big trip?
Oh, she was just in total shock and she just didn't know how to move forward. And I realized I think we're done because she didn't know how to deal with how I was coping and how I was growing so quickly and healing so fast and the whole psychedelicness of it all. It's just territory she just didn't know how to deal with.
Because you talked to her leading up to our anniversary for how long? A year?
A year.
A year?
Yeah.
And she knew everything.
She knew everything. So I was just like getting it out and she was kind of just like keeping me alive. That was her thing of just like really wanting me to focus on finding my power, like the feminism of it, of, read these books, like you need to start like finding your power. Mm-hmm. So she was like, I understand what she was doing.
Yeah.
She was wanting me to meditate, which I wasn't doing, because she saw all this self-destructive behavior and me not seeing my self-worth.
Mm-hmm.
So she was more focused on that. And it wasn't going the way she wanted, I know. And then when I came and I was like, this is what happened, she didn't know how to, looking back on it, I now can see like she was out of her league with that.
I remember you telling me she was like, because you told her you were going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And she thought, I never thought this could be the outcome.
Yeah. She never thought that I could bounce back and have that experience with you, tell you everything, and have you be so supportive, which is what I had thought as well. Like this is not possible. But we don't know these things until they happen.
And one thing that you were worried about for me was that as soon as you told me, I would crumble and break.
Yeah.
But instead, you found out that I am
stronger than I ever thought.
And I found that out too.
Yeah. So I was still seeing her, but it wasn't helpful to me anymore.
So I suggested the next trip because I've been doing this work and learning, come to understand you really understand the benefit of it that second time you do the big dose and come back to it. Because everyone gets there and they go, oh, I'm one with the universe. I'll never forget this.
Yeah.
And they lock that in and then they move into their life and they're like, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember how great it was. And it isn't until you go back to this, I'm one with the universe, where you go, I could never remember this. And you go, that's right. I completely forgot. Yeah. You don't get to remember. That's not a part of it. When we're in that space, you get all the knowledge. You don't get to take it with you. Mm-hmm. The body remembers.
Yeah.
This thing tells you a story. So I said, you need to trip again. You're like, I don't think I really want to. And I don't think that like I have to in order for, things to go.
Yeah.
And I said to you, the only reason that I've been able to help you and guide you the way that I've had and put my healing on hold is because I know we can go back there anytime we want and be able to meet as one in that universal consciousness and realize there's no separation between us. And that's when you went, oh.
Yeah. So we did another trip.
So we did.
At the house in Kitchener.
A big trip at the house in Kitchener. The product was a couple months old at this point.
Right. So it had lost some potency.
Potency is so important. This isn't about a guide to doing mushrooms, okay? This is our relationship story. But potency is so important. And the potency had gone down, and it makes it a little bit, it doesn't mean you can't get there, it just makes it a little bit more work.
And it's a little different.
Yeah. So I remember lying in the bed together, and we were like, are you there? And I was like, something's not right here. Something's not right. And I can't tell you what I do in the experience of guiding because I don't know. There's nothing to know. All I know is that when I do this, I will know. Mm-hmm. And I was doing my thing and we're lying in bed and I'm asking you questions and stuff and your answers weren't lining up right. They were coming from a place of
trying to figure it out.
I'm Esther and I'm an individual. And I was like, yeah, no, we can't, you can't get, you have to get there on your own. Mm-hmm. Because where you're getting is the everythingness. There is no me and that. It's I am that and everything else. I am one. You can't be yourself and have things outside of yourself when the self is containing everything. And so I went to the other room and I did my work and went, right, I got there.
Yeah.
And then I came back knowing she wasn't there. Do you know how I know that you weren't there?
You can feel it. Or
well, because I was everything.
Yeah.
And I came back in and again, I don't know what I said specifically.
It doesn't matter.
But I had a few questions for you. And I'm like, do you feel absolute bliss? And you were like, oh, wait, no, I don't. I'm like, do you love the feeling you're having right now? And you started going, oh, no, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't love this feeling.
Yeah.
And I said, are you happy? Which is a question I will ask. And you're like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, well, why not? Mm-hmm. What do you have to measure against to be able to just say I'm happy? Mm-hmm. And I said, do you want to know how to be happy? And you're like, okay. And I went like this. And you went, oh, yeah. And it clicked, right?
Yeah.
I said, I'm a good fucking teacher.
Yeah.
And I got up and I went to the bathroom. And then I came back in and you said, now I understand why we have to agree.
Yes.
So I can't tell you why from this place, but when two people come to this understanding together and they can both agree, I know what the truth is and you know what the truth is, and we can't say it out loud. This, all of a sudden, you're the most powerful thing in the world.
Yeah.
To say you are God isn't enough.
Yeah. Because you're just everything.
It just clicks. And when we sat in the bliss for a little bit, and then you needed to purge.
Then I needed to purge, went to the bathroom, and then I ended up just sitting on the bathroom floor.
So everyone's a little bit different in this process, but you physically purge when there's stuff inside that you need to get out. And so you went and were sitting on the floor, and that's when Peter and Esther kind of had a conversation.
Yeah. And so I had been feeling that feeling in life of like needing more and like needing a secret and needing a separation of me against you. I don't know. I can't really put into words now, but I had been stealing. And just little things, nothing much. And I hadn't even done that before, but I had picked this up as a way of kind of grab onto my individuality and, putting my heels down a bit. And it had to do with the money thing, and it had to do with my ego and all that. And so I had told you this. And we talked about that for a while and where that stemmed from.
And
I don't.
there were messages.
Oh, and I've had received messages from past men. Yeah.
And you didn't tell me about it.
No, I just ignored it.
And you thought that was enough.
I thought that was me being good, of like not even dealing with it, just ignoring it and moving on. But I had been holding on to that. And so it felt better to tell you.
And you understood you can't keep secrets from yourself.
Keep secrets from yourself.
Because
if I don't exist, who am I keeping secrets from? In that moment, it all just clicked. Be like, oh, silly girl.
When you're one with everything, there is no
no separation of you and others, and you and who are you hiding from? Who are you keeping these secrets from? Who are you stealing from? You're stealing from yourself.
Yeah.
And that was a big moment for me, because I hadn't really worked through that off the first trip because there's so much other stuff that I had to work through. So now I'm like peeling back the layers even further and really getting to the core of it, of you can't hide from yourself. Yeah.
We're going to leave it there. We still had more healing to do.
Yeah.
But those 3 months afterwards were crucial.
They were a lot.
There were a lot.
A lot of growing, and I was so happy we were in it together, on the same page, dealing with things, dealing with your father's death together.
Yeah. Can't do it without you.
Can't do it without you.